Good evening and welcome everyone to tonight's Board of Education business meeting. Although tonight we are excited to start off with a celebration of our teachers who have qualified and received tenure, and we have some presentations associated with that. Is that right?
Correct. Welcome, everyone, and congratulations to our tenure recipients and to our full-time probationary teachers. Tonight, we're recognizing 17 individuals who will be receiving tenure, and we're proud to be a part of this great accomplishment. When you take a look at some of the people that we're recognizing tonight, words like relationship builder, connector, investment, high levels of commitment, thoughtful, collaborators, love of children, knowledgeable, skillful, leadership, enthusiasm, empathetic, passionate, compassionate, professional growth, and student-centered. These are the main themes that come to mind as we recognize these 17 individuals for their incredible accomplishment of receiving tenure in the Fairport Central School District. You know, it's interesting, as I'm entering or just completed my 5th year, I was part of the hiring process. And the one thing that I continually look for is investment and a deep care and love of children. And I have the pleasure of having the final interview before I recommend them to the Board of Education after they've gone through a process. And I can confidently assert that these individuals, through interactions and interviews and, time that I've spent with them in the past 4 years, exemplify those very important qualities. Without further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Luff to come forward. And again, we're recognizing our tenure recipients and our full-time probationary teachers who, in 4 years, we hope to be celebrating and will have the same qualities that will make an impact in Fairport, in our programming, and most importantly, affect the lives of our children. Mr. Luff, thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Provenzano. As was just mentioned, we are very excited to recognize our tenure recipients this evening and our new full-time probationary teachers. The tenure recipients were approved back in the spring and earned their tenure when they started back up here in the fall. And, we couldn't be more proud of these administrators and teachers that earned tenure. These folks have really demonstrated amazing leadership and amazing teaching skills and just unbelievable dedication and commitment to our students in our district over the last 4 years. They were invited to be once a Raider, and now they are earning tenure, and they are invited to forever be a Raider by earning tenure, so we're so very proud. Our new full-time probationary teachers are absolutely the best of the best. They went through a rigorous interview and selection process, interviews, demo lessons. A number of candidates obviously applied, as Fairport is a very desirable district to work in. So these folks really rose to the top and were selected from a number of outstanding candidates, but they truly are the best of the best. And they demonstrated passion and a student-first mentality that really put them at the top, and we're really proud to have them here with us now as part of the Fairport family. So before we show our presentation here and recognize all of our tenure recipients and new full-time probationary teachers, I'd like to say congratulations to all. And we have 2 other folks that are going to offer some congratulatory words. So first, I will invite Susan Casement up, who is the president of our Teachers Association.
Good evening. As president of the Fairport Educators Association, on behalf of our 550-plus members, I offer congratulations to our 7 teachers and support professionals who were granted tenure at the beginning of this school year. Tenure is a major accomplishment on our career journeys, and this achievement was earned after 4 probationary years during which teachers hone their skills and show their dedication to teaching the students of Fairport. We thank the Board of Education and administration for instituting these celebrations of success and acknowledgement of our professional growth. Someone once said teachers have three loves: the love of learning, love of learners, and love of bringing the first two together. So, Christina, Megan, Caitlin, Carrie, Patrick, Holly, and Glenn, you exemplify these values, these standards, and we are happy we are working with you, and we are proud to say congratulations on your tenure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. And at this time, I would also like to introduce Karen Finger, who's here as a representative of the Fairport Administrators Association, to say some congratulatory words as well. So welcome, Dr. Finger.
Good evening and thank you. It is an incredible pleasure to be able to congratulate our Fairport administrators, Ellen Reed, Kevin Henchen, Fritz Killian, Pat Groh, and Meredith Kloos, on their tenure. Their passion and commitment to our students, staff, and community is easily witnessed in all that they do. They are child and student focused, which represents the heart of Fairport schools. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be able to work alongside this stellar team of professionals. Congratulations to each and every one, and best wishes for many years of success.
Thank you so much, Karen. And as always, we wish we could have been here in person with all the candidates and their loved ones that probably would have came with them for this great recognition, but we weren't able to do that. So without further ado, we will show a presentation in their honor to recognize them all. And this will also be posted to our different social media outlets after the board meeting tonight, so you can watch it again at another time. So congratulations to all. Enjoy.
congratulations to our 12 tenure recipients. I know I said 17, maybe I wish we would have 17 incredible educators. And to our 15 new teachers who, again, I had the pleasure of welcoming and interacting with them before they entered our classrooms, and they're poised to be in front of us within the next 4 years as well to celebrate their great accomplishment. Thank you, Mr. Luff, and to Tony Exton and team for putting together such a nice tribute.
Indeed, if I might just, you all know the board takes seriously our duties, right? And one of the first things I was reflecting on as I listened to that, Brett, is in training, and Eric, I don't know if you've had yours yet, right? But they teach us several things that are, it's on. They teach us several things that are our primary responsibility, or really important responsibilities, and one of them is tenure, right?
Thank you so much for having me here this evening.
And we take that really seriously, as people know. So one of the things I've heard is this was earned by these individuals. Indeed, that's the case. We congratulate them for earning it, because at the board level, we get these recommendations. We read through them. We take it seriously. And so we are happy to approve and congratulate each and every one of them. And to our new teachers, as Brett said, we look forward to doing the same thing in several years from now. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Board of Education and Mr. Forsgren. The next part is pretty special, and it's definitely not a perfunctory ritual that occurs yearly. It's recognizing our Board of Education. And I sit in front of you here a better person and better school leader because of your leadership and your clarity and vision, patience and expectations, fierce advocates for our children, to make sure that we're doing the very best for all children, to make sure that we're not only ensuring a high-quality education for their today, but guaranteeing or striving to guarantee excellence for their future. And it takes the vision of a Board of Education to allow us to do the things that we do here in our Fairport schools. I'm really proud to partner with all of you and be a part of this incredible district. Thank you for giving me the honor of working with each of you. We're here to recognize the Fairport Board of Education here tonight, and we're going to start out with a video, I believe, from Mr. Clark. I think he was trying to get on earlier. So, thank you.
To represent Fairport High School in this important week where we take time out all over New York State to honor the work that Board of Educations do to serve, especially our community in Fairport. So I want to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of you for all of your support, especially through these times, and everything that you do to dedicate your time to serving our district. And it's my great pleasure to turn things over to Terry McDonald, the president of our PTSA, who's going to introduce our students and to share this proclamation with you.
Thank you so much, Bob. I'll be announcing the class officers, but first I would like to take a moment to say thank you to the Board of Education for the countless hours they have dedicated to our Fairport community. The hours that you have put in truly do not go unnoticed. Our class presidents, Quinn O'Connor is our senior class president, Grace Cardinal is our junior class president, and Brady Unger is our sophomore class president. Thank you so much, Board of Education.
New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo has declared the week of October 19th to 23rd as School Board Education Recognition Week throughout the Empire State. A time for residents to acknowledge the contributions made by our local school board members. And whereas an outstanding public education system is vital to the quality of life for residents of Fairport and Barrington and other communities in our state and nation.
Whereas the Fairport Board of Education embraces a vision for our schools to cultivate creative, healthy, caring, and analytical thinkers who will compete and contribute successfully in a diverse society, and whereas Fairport School Board members Erica Beauvoir-Pacer, Damon Buffum, Margaret Cardona, Peter Forsgren, Joyce Kostick, Judy O'Leary-Sargent, and Timothy Sliz volunteer their services without compensation to act as advocates for all learners, and
Fairport can take pride in its schools Our students receive a well-rounded education that nurtures their academic, artistic, physical, and social, emotional development. Therefore, on behalf of the students and staff at Fairport High School and all schools in the district, we would like to express our gratitude to the Board of Education for the lasting and significant impact these board members have had on the lives of Fairport students. Thank you.
Hello everybody, Dominic Monticelli here, very proud principal of Minerva DeLand, here with a very brief message, and it's an honor to introduce Evan Pacer and Kelly Hodge, as we're going to say a few words about Erica Pacer and your service to the Board of Education and to the Fairport community. So again, a whole huge thank you, not just to Erica, but our entire Board of Education for all you do for Minerva DeLand and our entire school community. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hodge, and I'm the PTA rep, just part of the high school. And I just wanted to extend our sincere thanks to the board and to Erica for all that you've done and continue to do to support our students and support our schools, and especially during all these times that we've been having lately and these last 8 months. It's been very difficult, but it's been so kind of humbling to see that everyone has come together in such a great way to support the Fairport community. And we wanted to just say thank you very much. Evan.
Once again, thank you for taking time out of your free time to help out with the community. In dedication, they were giving us to the library. It's a book about a girl who donates books to a very impoverished area in the world.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Pat Grove, principal at JP, and I'd like to thank all of the members of the Board of Education for all the work they do in supporting our families, community, and certainly the students. Today, we are recognizing Mrs. Marty Cardona, and from JP, we have her granddaughter, Maribel Cardona, to present her with the gift from our family here at JP.
So the book we chose is The Notorious RGB. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg never asked for fame. She only tried to make the world a little better and a little freer. But nearly half a century into her career, something funny happened to her. She won the internet. Across America, people who weren't even born when Ginsburg first made her name as a feminist pioneer are tattooing themselves with her face, setting her famously searing dissents to music, and making viral videos in her tribute. The Notorious RGB tells a never-before-told story of an unusual and transformative woman who transcends generations and generational divides, as the country struggles with unfinished business of gender equality and civil rights. Ginsburg stands as a testament to how far we can come with a little chutzpah.
Good evening, members of the Board of Education. On behalf of the faculty and staff at Martha Brown, my pleasure to recognize the efforts of all of you. I think every one of you on the Board of Education understand the important role that you play in providing support and services to all of our students in all of our buildings. On behalf of the staff at Martha Brown, I think everyone knows the trying times that we've been in for the last 8 months. And though the times are trying, and though it's been tough for our staff and our parents and our students, I want to say that on behalf of all of us, your presence, your support has been definitely felt each day. And I know that many of you take on many jobs throughout the course of the day. And I just want to thank you for your tireless efforts and leadership, especially in this pandemic. My pleasure to introduce a very, very special member of our Martha Brown student body, Liam Forsgrim, and I believe Liam is the last of 5 Forsgrims, so we've enjoyed every one of them. And I can't believe how tall he's gotten just in the last 6 months or so. But anyway, my pleasure to introduce Liam Forsgrim to recognize a very, very special member of the Board of Education.
Hi, I'm Liam Forsgrim. On behalf of the teachers and the students at Martha Brown Middle School, I would like to thank my dad, Mr. Forsgrim, for all the time he has spent to make sure we get an education and have a safe place to meet together. Our school this year is not perfect. We are doing okay, I hope, but it's hard. The Board of Education spent a lot of time on Zoom meetings this summer trying to work things out. I know because my dad many nights would just randomly disappear. Along with other board members, my dad really tries to see things from a different perspective. The students, the teachers, the parents, and also other groups. He wants to be sure those voices can be heard and understood. In honor of your hard work, the students, teachers, and staff at Martha Brown Middle School donate the book of Look Both Ways, A Tale Told in 10 Blocks by Jason Reynolds. This book tells 10 different experiences of people walking home from school on different blocks. Each story has different challenges and a different perspective with each connection to others. Each one needs to be heard. Thank you, Dad, and other Board of Education for your hard work on our behalf.
Greetings from Jefferson Avenue School. We are pleased to be here today to celebrate Board of Education Recognition Week. We are thankful for the time and dedication the Fairport Board of Education puts in for the Fairport schools, and we are here to celebrate for JA specifically Mr. Sliz and all of his dedication on the Board of Education. And I am here with 5th grader and Student Council Ambassador Violet Herman. And Violet Herman has some words for Mr. Sliz and the entire Board of Education.
We are proud to donate to the JA Library this book in honor of Mr. Sliz. With the help of Mrs. Bannock, we carefully chose the book titled The Story Encyclopedia of Values and Habits, understanding the tough stuff like patience, diligence, and perseverance. We chose this book because it connects with this year's theme at Jefferson Avenue, the Year of Perseverance. We are thankful for the perseverance that Mr. Sliz and the entire Board of Education continues to model for all of us. Our board is providing us examples of what it means to push through the tough stuff, as the title of this book reflects. Thank you, Mr. Sliz, and our entire Board of Education.
Violet, I could not have said that any better. Well done. So, Fairport Board of Education, Mr. Sliz, we are beyond appreciative for all you do to make Fairport schools the best schools in the whole entire world. And we are appreciative of the fact that you truly make a difference. From JA, thank you.
Hello to our Board of Education members. On behalf of the staff, students, and families of Brooks Hill School, we would like to formally recognize Mrs. Joyce Kostick this year. We appreciate Mrs. Kostick's many years of service to the Fairport school community. Mrs. Kostick cares deeply about our schools. She has shown her dedication and support through her role on the Board of Education and by always putting students at the center of her advocacy. In Fairport, we're fortunate to have Board of Education members like Mrs. Kostick who are committed to providing all of our students with a quality education that supports the growth of the whole child. I will now let you know who will be speaking after me on behalf of Brooks Hill to honor Mrs. Kostick. We will have first graders Daniel Remillard, Eleanor Martin, and Grace Arnold. This year we chose first graders to represent Brooks Hill because we know Mrs. Kostick loves our youngest children.
The first book we picked out was called Our Class is a Family. Our school is like a big family. All the members of our family are important. Mrs. Kostick is part of our family. The book will be donated to our school library for everyone to enjoy. The second book is a book for the teachers in our school. It is called The Playful Classroom. It is about play for all ages. We know Mrs. Kostick really believes in play. This book will be in our teacher's library. We want to thank Mrs. Kostick for taking care of our schools. She helps all of our schools be the best they can be. Thank you for all that you do.
It is our honor and privilege to recognize Mr. Damon Buffum. Mr. Buffum was elected to serve on the Fairport Board of Education on May 21st, 2013. During his time on the board, Mr. Buffum has demonstrated his advocacy for children and his love for our community. We all look forward to seeing Mr. Buffum visit our building. His booming smile, hearty handshakes, and sincere words of appreciation demonstrate his passion for supporting Fairport educators.
We are joined here today by our PTA president, Erin Vandenberg, her daughter, Willie, a Northside 5th grader, and Allie Moritz, also a 5th grade Northsider.
Mr. Buffum has a variety of interests outside of his Board of Education work. His interests influenced our book selection that we proudly dedicate in his honor to the Northside Library. Our first selection is Yogi, the life, love, and language of baseball legend Yogi Berra. We know that Mr. Buffum is a huge fan of the New York Yankees. We feel that this book about Lawrence Yogi Berra captures the passion of Yogi as well as Mr. Buffum both have a love of family, neighborhood, friends, and baseball.
The second book we selected is Be a Maker. We chose this because Mr. Buffum is a man that makes things happen, whether cruising above us at 30,000 feet or his work, tweeting on social media, or staying connected to the world. Mr. Buffum is a mover and maker. This book follows two student explorers on a day of creation just to see how much there is to do and make in a single day.
Mr. Buffum, thank you for your work to support the students, educators, and families in the Fairport Central School District. We appreciate your advocacy, your support, and genuine care for all of us.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the entire Dudley Dragon School community, we would like to thank the whole Board of Education for all that they do to support our schools and ensure that we are able to remain committed to educating the whole child. This is especially heartfelt this year as we have had to alter our teaching and learning in order to also focus on being safe. Dudley School is excited to be a part of recognizing each of you for your outstanding contributions to Fairport Schools. To that end, I am pleased to introduce to you Mrs. Amy Zedek, the President of our PTA, Vice President, Mrs. Erin Salem Reinecke, Mrs. Candy Carr, who is our Secretary, and our Treasurer, Mrs. Sarah Metzler Hardy. And, of course, their sweet children, Tyler Zedek, Adelaide, Garrett, and Ellie.
We are honored to recognize Mrs. Judy O'Leary Sargent today. When not serving our school district, Mrs. Sargent is a clinical psychologist and is passionate about brain research and learning what makes kids and adults happy, scared, and sad. She loves to help kids and adults learn how to enjoy their lives. Having gone to school for many years, Mrs. Sargent values education and knows how important it is that students have the opportunity to try lots of different things so they can figure out what they're good at and really love to do.
Show that book.
Hi, we picked the book Sorry, Really Sorry by Joanna Kotler. This book is about the power of kindness when someone is feeling grumpy.
A bad mood can spread from one person to another, making everyone feel grumpy and mean.
Read it with Mommy. Really loud. Ready?
Around.
So when we're feeling grumpy, all it takes is one person to turn it around with kindness. Okay, friends, we hope you enjoy this book. Thank you for all you do to make our schools the best. Yay!
And once again, thank you to our Board of Education. And it always, it's amazing how they're able to pick the right book. And that just shows how connected you are to our schools because they know what's in your hearts. Thank you, Board of Education.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I think I've heard many times all of us, or people come up and thank us. At the same time they're thanking us, they say, we know it's a thankless job. And I think, well, what are you doing? And I haven't found that to be so. And so thank you for all the time and effort that went into that. That definitely makes a good day. I think sometimes we need to do a celebration similar for our PTA presidents, don't we? Or something, as much time as they put in as well. Okay, well, I think I'm officially supposed to do the hammer now, right, and call us to order, if that makes it official, at, well, whatever time it is, 6:36 p.m. To get our meeting officially started, I need a motion to approve the agenda. Tim first, do you have a second? Marty? Any questions, or, not questions, or desire to rearrange, add, take from? No? Seeing none, take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And I wrote down here, I almost failed to recognize a couple things that I always fail, but I wanted to mention our Mr. Damon Buffum is joining us remotely, and appreciate him being here. Joining via video allows him, if I'm not mistaken, to participate, right, in voting. Joyce, I look at you as our expert, but we can do all that. So Damon, please feel free to raise your hand or whatever. We can see you on the screen, so when we take votes. But glad you're able to join us that way. In terms of, we did do some minor rearranging of the agenda that may have been pushed out there a little earlier, having the president's report and the superintendent's report first. Ultimately, before starting, just for flow, did we get anybody signed up for public
Yes,
comment?
we have a few, two.
Okay.
Ariel.
Ariel.
Okay, two, very good, thank you, there you are. So I'm going to start off with it's not so much a report, but a statement that, or just comments, I suppose, over the last couple of weeks. Grateful for what we saw in terms of, we just heard from each of the building principals and other people that they brought in. But I sit here today with the Board of Education, our superintendent, assistant superintendents, and other leaders here in our district. Grateful for all that they do, because over the years, recognizing that we have a progress-minded leadership in this district, never wanting to sit back on our laurels. They are people who want to move forward, press forward, be better, do better, keep us moving, and so progress-oriented all the time. And that's a wonderful place to be. We know the love of our staff, the love that they have for their students, and the desire to embrace each student. We know they want none to feel left out. And although we have been on a path for several years now to ensure equity, access, and cultural sensitivity, the past couple of weeks have been enlightening, gratifying, but challenging. And that's a good thing, because progress is challenging. Our path came to a fork in the road recently, and in selecting a path to move forward, we found the need for us as a board, with our superintendent and others, to learn, to listen, and to grow. And we have done this together, the Board of Education with the superintendent. And in doing so, we realized our need to reframe or refocus ourselves, our message, and the district, and to recognize the real urgency of the situations that are affecting us all right at this time. We want to stress, without apology, without any room for misinterpretation, that Black Lives Matter. Yes, we hear all lives matter from some, and that is true, but within that all-inclusive all, and if you can't see me, I put it in air quotes, we have citizens, we have students of color whose everyday experiences tell them that their lives seem to matter less than others. And that is not the case in our district, and never should have been otherwise. We recognize the humanitarian and the civil rights aspect of the current efforts around Black Lives Matter, and as an educational institution, we will focus on that. We recognize that tension that this can bring as organized groups press for legislative changes, endorsements of certain candidates, or exercising of rights of peaceful protest. And as a board, we have decided we are comfortable with this tension. But we state that we need to be right now where we should have been already. No more delays. Our students of color, our Black students, must know that we fully believe their lives matter. We love them, we embrace them. And so what does that mean for us as a district? It means we want our staff to be true to themselves and be able to express themselves accordingly in their dress. We want our talented staff to engage with other students and staff in discussions that drive us to better places. We fully expect all of our staff to be professional in their jobs and use of district tools and resources, whether that be emails, computers, or other tools, and they have always done this. We know people do not agree in areas of legislation and politics, but we also know, because in the past couple of weeks we have not heard once otherwise, that every single one of them believe and wholeheartedly feel that Black Lives Matter, that their students of color matter, that they love them. And to that end, we support our staff in expressing that in appropriate ways. Should unprofessional situations and interactions arise, then great, we will manage that accordingly on a one-on-one basis. But we, overall, not too worried about that. We just don't see that happening. But we do not want to restrict the free expression of our staff to let students and community members know that they are loved, that their lives matter to us, and to that end, we remain dedicated entirely and completely. And so grateful for the journey that we had in the past couple weeks, grateful for those who reached out and made their voices heard, grateful for what we've been able to do together. Thank you. Brett.
Thank you, Mr. Forsgren, and thank you, Board of Education, for giving me an opportunity to express some thoughts. Gratitude is definitely the right word. One of the strengths of this Board of Education and of our school community is our willingness to continue to reflect on everything we do and how it ultimately affects our children. We have heard it repeatedly. We are living in unprecedented times. Our students have endured 8 months of the pandemic, coupled with social unrest and racial injustice and all the very trauma that comes from both. Over the past several weeks, we became entangled in these realities and attempted to clarify our role as a public school district. Since then, we have heard from our students, staff, and community members around the political landscape and the real-time urgency to end institutional racism in our society. The district remains steadfast to prioritizing the concepts of equity, access, and diversity. We will stay the course with our commitments related to fighting racism by developing a culturally responsive curriculum, recruiting and hiring for greater diversity, providing professional development for staff, supporting parent and family engagement, and conducting a thorough review of our data and policies as we move along. At the heart of the Fairport values lies our commitment to our students based on their enduring principles of care and sisterhood, brotherhood. As a district, we have wrestled with the conflict of our publicly funded staff using their positions to advance any political agenda. However, our staff has made it clear to us, and I fully support this belief, that their choice to demonstrate support for our black and brown students by wearing t-shirts and pins and face coverings is not meant to be a political statement. It is intended as an act of kindness, love, and support for the benefit of modeling civility for all students. We will not suppress sentiments of love, kindness, and support for our students. These enduring concepts are at the heart of who we are as a school community. To that end, staff members may choose to wear a t-shirt, pin, or face covering to express those sentiments. Over the past several weeks, we have learned from our students, staff, and community. It is not a time for trepidation, but a time to move forward, be courageous, press on, and be better and do better for our students and our community. As our board attests, our black and brown students know that we fully believe their lives matter. We love them, we embrace them, and stand alongside them during this pivotal time in our nation's history. And as I shared a few weeks back, we have an opportunity to create our own narrative around how we need to care for each other in our community. Our children need us to model how to work constructively through challenging situations together in a way that our Fairport community can only do. It's crucial to continue to work together and create a school community that reflects equity, inclusivity, and diversity for the benefit of all our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett, for opening up the public comment. I always generally, after my report, at least give a chance if you want to say anything, but don't want to pass that up. No, we're good then. So first name? Solon Bennett Hennessy, if you'll please come to the podium, let us know where you live, and we ask that comments be kept to about 5 minutes, and anything of critical of nature, especially regarding persons, we not name people individually. Those types of things we should do in private.
Make sure your blue light is on.
That's all. Yes.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now? Yes. Well, it would seem I don't need to spend as much time on my statement since the preceding statement accomplished many of the goals that was the intention of what I had to say tonight. So I really that's encouraging to me. I'm here on behalf of the Fairport Alliance for Education Equity, and we were intending to share letters from members in the group as well as our own statement to sort of pave the way for what's apparently already happened, which is fantastic. We wanted, though, to make sure that our voice was heard. So there are 288 black students in the Fairport Central School District and 258 Latinx students. Together, they comprise 10% of the student body. And earlier this month, what transpired obviously was concerning to many parents in the district. I'm really pleased about the decision that has been made, and I guess I wanted to also offer to sort of reinforce that the U.S. Office of Special Counsel issued an advisory opinion on July 10th stating that the use of Black Lives Matter terminology is not inherently political, and that Black Lives Matter Global Network is not a partisan political group. And accordingly, the federal employees that are permitted to engage in Black Lives Matter related activity while on duty or in the workplace without violating the Hatch Act. So I think it goes beyond all of the
Hello, everyone. Karen Costin.
Okay, and I think, not sure how much of a lag there is. Damon had mentioned in a text that he's lagging, so it's difficult to vote, at least in real time. Sorry about that, Damon. We will do our best. Yes, see your hand raised 5 minutes later, we'll know what's going on. So always one of the better parts of the night, not to say anything against what's happened. We've had a great night already, but our student advisor, Jackson Dietz, will you please come to the podium?
Thank you all for having me back again this month. So I just wanted to start by congratulating both the newly tenured teachers and administrators of the district. As somebody who has two parents as educators, I understand that this is a monumental occasion for these staff members. Also, I'd like to thank our Board of Education for all of the work you are continuing to do and do every day to make Fairport the amazing community that it is. And I really enjoy getting to talk to you every month. So it has been a very busy few weeks since I last spoke to all of you. So in major news, our fall sports have all smoothly started. And at this point, most of our teams have actually completed their home openers. So in terms of academics at Fairport High School specifically, things are really starting to kick in now. 5-week grades have been completed. Some of our seniors, like myself, are wrapping up their leadership seminar projects. And students have also settled into what we're calling the new normal at this point. So the district has also passed several annual events, including one that we're actually doing right now, and that's Red Ribbon Week. That's a very important event at all of our schools. As a member of the CPAC committee, I can tell you that we really enjoy getting to do all the activities around Red Ribbon Week. Also, this week and last week, we participated in Safety Week, which features everyone's favorite drill, the early dismissal drill. So looking forward, we also have some very important events coming up throughout the whole district and our nation. So we have the Martha Brown Fall Play starting on the 13th, and that will be in a virtual capacity, I believe. We have the U.S. general election on the 3rd. I know that's a big event a lot of people are looking forward to. And we also have college application season for a lot of our seniors, including myself, and that begins as soon as the 10th for some people. So again, it's always great sharing with you. I look forward to seeing you guys and talking to you guys every month. And thank you for having me.
Do you mind taking a couple questions?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm sorry. Didn't know there would be.
No, we don't get this chance right now.
It's great.
You know, we tour each of the schools once each month, but this year it's being done differently as well. So camaraderie among the student body and your morale, how y'all doing?
I think everyone's doing really well. You know, this week is Red Ribbon Week and next week is our Spirit Week. So we are doing activities every day that people are in school in terms of theme days. This past Monday was Pink Out Day for breast cancer awareness. We also have some really good ones. We have Beach Day. We have our Fairport Color Wars Day, of course, and then this year we're having Fall Day, which I think will be fun. And I think, you know, Spirit Days are something that everyone looks forward to every year, regardless of the circumstances. And I think that this reminded everyone that we're still in school, everyone is still hopefully enjoying themselves and, you know, getting to have some great social connections.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry to keep you longer.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackson.
Great job, Jackson.
Okay, Mr. Stevens for our treasurer and investment update.
Okay, good evening and thank you. Tonight we have the treasurer and investment update for the month of August 2020. The beginning cash balance of $44.2 million in general fund, $2.3 million in cash receipts, $4.1 million in disbursements for an ending cash balance of $42.4 million. Of the $42.4, approximately $30.6 million is invested in a mix of cash sweep account and CDARS, which is approximately 72% of the total cash. Quick note, you'll see the $1.3 million that came in for sales tax. That actually closes out our 19-20 budget year. To date, in looking at the report, you'll notice that actual revenue for 2021 is approximately $138,000 through August, with expenses of about $5.9 million. So usually the August timeframe, we have more expenses going out through the summer, and we'll start to see tax revenue come in September.
Thank you, and I believe we do have our representative here, right, for the financial audit. We ready to move on to that presentation? So as I think the other board members know, right, the Audit Finance Committee met with our auditors, external auditors, who have completed their audit for the last school year, and we saw everything in draft, sent you the minutes of that meeting, but here they're now to present them in their final state.
Yep. So tonight we have Tom Zuber with Ray Wagger's firm to talk about the year end in the audit.
And Tom, how many of these do you have tonight?
Pardon me?
How many of these do you have tonight?
Just one tonight,
Just one
actually.
tonight. Very
so,
good.
Looking forward to it after this. So thank you for inviting me here tonight. So as Matt mentioned, we're here to present the basic financial statements of the school district as of June 30th, 2020. There's a lot of good information in these financial statements. They're around 65 pages long. We have our audit opinion, which is an unqualified audit opinion. There's also a management discussion analysis that's in the basic financial statements, which really is, the intent is for the reader to take a read through that and get really an overall basic understanding of what took place during the year. We did meet with the audit committee back on October 14th, and we spent a lot of time reviewing the draft financial statements. We talked about year-over-year variances, we talked about budget variances, we talked about internal controls, we talked about fund balances and reserves. And we did really have a nice conversation regarding the district financial condition. And the district continues to be in good financial condition. And when we look at that, we really look at how is the district handling your reserves and fund balance, right? And the district has done a very nice job over the years in monitoring your different reserves, your fund balances. You have reserve plans, and you really do a very nice job in discussing those reserves and fund balance. And really, as you know, these financial statements really are the results of a budget process that you started almost 2 years ago, right? And as you know, things have ended a little differently than they started out for this fiscal year. So the district really did make some decisions as you were coming to the end of the 2020 year to help really position the district to deal with some of the challenges that will be coming the school district's way over the next 3 to 5 years, okay? And so again, you've done a very nice job in reviewing and working through those reserves, okay? So again, very, very positive from the financial statement standpoint, okay? In addition to the basic financial statements, we also review the internal controls and checks and balances, and I'm pleased to report there are no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So again, as we go through the audit, we do have to sit down and take a look at all of the process and procedures that the district has in place and really document the flow of the transactions. And again, I'm pleased to report there are no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. So again, very positive from the financial statement standpoint. So overall, again, we had a good discussion with the audit committee, had a lot of conversation. Again, the district continues to be in good financial condition. You continue to review and monitor your reserves, really to help position the district to deal with some of the challenges that you'll see over the next few years. Okay.
Any questions for Tom?
Any questions?
Thank you so much for
Thanks,
your
Tom.
time. Appreciate it, Tom. But Brett, to you, Matt, to you and the team, it always says so much about you all as well to not have any material findings. Right? And we greatly appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
And I appreciate your work and commitment to our district. And like Mr. Forsgren said, Matt, your team is right on top of it and really making sure that we're putting ourselves in the best position financially. Thank you. Mr. Eckert's here as well.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Okay, that moves us to our consent calendar with various items the treasurer's report officially in there, minutes, and some bid awards. Need a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Moved.
Tim, a second. Joyce? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, hearing none, I'm gonna go with 6-0 and, yeah, well, abstain for now. We do have 3 donations, and so need a motion to approve or accept the first donation, which is through BOCES for 6,224 masks. No doubt they've all been used already. Motion to accept. Marty, second. Erica? Not sure comments are necessary. Other say thank you to BOCES, right? And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, thank you. I don't know that I need to ask for a polls on donations. Then from our Monroe County government, there's quite a list there. I'd just like to make it known for people who may be listening, but 400,000 adult procedural masks, 100,000 pediatric procedural masks, 500 pediatric face shields, 520 N95 masks, 1,200 cotton reusable masks, 470 boxes of gloves, and 16 no-touch infrared thermometers given to us by our county. Grateful for that support. The motion to accept or approve. Judy, thank you. Second. Marty. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, hey, I see Damon waving. Can we call that something?
That
No,
might
or
have
is
been
that on
for
a
the-
prior?
That was for the consent calendar. Just catching up.
Right. It's going to work out if we stay on the cadence, right? And then final one, this was to our Fairport Food Services, I believe, from Materna, right, of North America, providing us with Go-Go Squeezy applesauce pouches, a value of $7,920. So I believe thanks to Michelle Wright for somehow working this out. We appreciate that. A motion to approve?
Moved.
Second? I hope I voted. Judy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you to all those who've donated at this time. It's greatly appreciated and needed. Personnel action 6A, so instructional. Motion to approve as listed in the agenda and supporting documentation. Marty first. Second, Joyce. Questions, comments?
I'd like to just, there's one retirement on there from Ms. Aroni from Brooks Hill School. Congratulations and thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out, retirement, right? Other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6-0. For athletics, motion to approve. Marty, second. Joyce? Questions, comments? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 6-0. Non-instructional service, civil service, personnel actions, motion to approve. I guess I have to look around for that, Marty. Thank you. Second, Joyce. Any questions with this or comments? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6-0. We have 5, right? Memorandums of agreement. First one with FVA about the APPR. Motion to approve this agreement.
Moved.
Tim. Second, Erica. Questions about the MOA? Any? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6-0. Memorandum of agreement for a specific teacher in science labs. We see this, I think, right, extra duty for lab time. Motion to approve.
Moved.
Tim, second. Judy? Questions about this one? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. I think I'm getting whiplash trying to look both ways. Another memorandum agreement for Martha Brown, special education lead teacher. Motion to approve. Joyce, second. Erica? Questions, comments? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. 6-0. Memorandum of agreement for afternoon jazz stipend for a specific teacher. Need a motion to approve.
Moved.
Second. Joyce, thank you. Questions, comments for this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? 6-0. And then memorandum of agreement regarding athletic stipends for the 2020 fall season. Motion to approve.
Moved.
Erica, second Tim. Questions there? Just say thank you to all the hard work putting into that because of the unique situation of our athletics at this time and under COVID. So thank you, Brett, for all the hard work there. And our athletic department, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 6-0. And finally, a motion to approve the separation agreement between the district and a specific employee. Motion to approve. Marty, second. Erica? Questions or comments here? All in favor? Any opposed? Nope. 6-0. Okay, we made it through. 7A, capital improvement project presentation. Who do we have with us tonight? I looked around.
Mark is up there.
We have Mark Esposito.
Yeah. Good evening, Mark. Someone else? Oh,
And Kevin Rademacher.
Kevin. My neck doesn't turn around so far very well anymore these days, you know. But welcome
evening.
tonight. Thank you.
So we got a quick update on the capital improvement project from last month. With the first slide. Let's click over here.
Just give me the link or something like that.
First slide. So just to go over the referendum authorization and how it's broken down to $56.75 million budget. We have our incidental budget of just over $10.2 million. Our construction contingency of just over $3.4 million. And then between our phase 1 contract estimate value right now for the budget of $28.5 million, and then our phase 2 estimate budget right now of $14.5 is how we get to that total value. Can I get the link again, or is there something different?
Oh, is it?
Did you get it?
No, but apparently not.
Might be too far away. Okay, I got you.
I can come back.
Just trying to be proactive.
So just to give the overall schedule for phase 1, the work is being submitted this week to SED. Per our conversations last update, we had some discussions with SED and clarified everything that needed to be clarified before we submitted. So that is going on this week. And then the phase 2 schematic design phase has begun. The user group meetings are scheduled, and Kevin's going to go over that in a second in one of these slides of what's about to happen the rest of the month. So, and then just to give an update on the construction timeline phasing that we have. Brett, if you can hit the next slide, please. Nothing has changed on this slide since our last update. We are still looking to start after the school year. We'll be bidding this work for phase 1 in the early or late winter, and looking to award contracts in that March-April time period still. So construction will not start until after the school year begins with phase 1. And then phase 2 is not looking to bid until next fall. So then we would begin the work at the beginning of 22 calendar year.
So this is a floor plan, taking a look at the existing, or really the new planned renovation for the cafeteria at the high school. And the red lines indicate options for creating some sort of movable barrier in that area. So in case you want the advantage of being able to lock down those areas into smaller confined spaces, you can do that at a future date. It's not currently in the submission, but it is something we're discussing as an option moving forward. If that's something you choose to do, this will allow you to do that. So with movable partitions, there are a few different parts to that. So there are partitions that can go fully closed. In that scenario, State Education Department will require some swinging doors. So there'll be some permanent wing walls with swinging doors that the movable partition will abut to. So in zones where you see kind of the gray area, we'll have to look at doing that to allow egress. If they are closed to cordon off and just have some open walkway spaces, you wouldn't have to do that in that scenario. So just something to think about as we move forward. So what we're doing right now is we're in phase 2, schematic design. As Mark said, we're submitting phase 1, so that is pretty much done. That's 100% documents going to SED. We're now into phase 2, so we're doing schematic design with user groups, office spaces, science classrooms, et cetera, at every other building. And we're starting to nail down what that scope really looks like, and the campus will take some time to validate pricing based off of those meetings. So again, we're going to submit that in February 21. That was easy.
Yeah.
Questions?
The partitions, I just more curiosity, what brought that? We hadn't seen it before, as you mentioned, it's new. Was there something that just said we should give this a consideration, or?
I think it was a conversation in our facilities group.
Oh, in the facilities group,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Something that we spoke about at the workshops, in this world that we're living in, just being able to have options and flexibility. So thank you for being responsive and detailing it at Facilities Committee. Thank you.
If I may, just, so the grade areas, the 4 grade areas would actually be permanent doors, correct?
That's correct.
So when the walls are open, you just have this box with doors in it,
That's
sitting
not-
in the middle of the room.
That's correct.
That's where they slide into, I assume, right?
Well, there will be pockets as well, but on top of that, you'll need some swinging doors because SED doesn't recognize even a movable partition that's normally recognized for egress and base code. They will not allow it for a school building. So you have to have some permanent doors that'll just kind of be standing alone within the space.
So like, those would be hooked into the alarm system, so they would close automatically?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, you wouldn't need that in this scenario because you're not cordoning off a rated area.
Okay.
These are convenience.
Gotcha, okay.
And you can really even see this in the future, even if we're not in need to quarantine multiple different user groups, on a Saturday. It could be a nice function, so.
Yeah, I just try to admit, for me, vision that it was such an open design when you showed the 3D kind of thing. Now it's suddenly there's 2, at least those 2 near the stairs, right? That.
Yeah, I think it's really just a response to what's happening now in the world with COVID, but
Sure.
Will that be over by the time this is constructed? So maybe 2 years down the road when this is open, is this a thing that you'd like? Maybe, I mean, that's up for.
Well, we've had significant discussion among the board members at workshops about, the fact that we're going from 3 cafeterias, which you can segregate, if you will, for reasons of keeping cohorts together, to now mixing, and that's why I think these designs show that, because we had questioned that and said, well, wait a minute, it seems counterintuitive to do this when we're in a situation where it's very good that we have 3 separate cafeterias.
The operative word is flexibility.
Yep.
Right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Great, thank you.
Thank you, team.
Okay, we have a policy or board discussion action items, policy first read. 4 policies there. Need a motion to approve the first reading. Anyone, Joyce? A
Second.
Second of Tim. Questions about these policies? Comments?
It's been a lot of work in this.
Yeah. So nothing you want to point out? Very good. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? First reading passes 6-0. Policy second read, just one here, searches and interrogations, and motion to approve. I'll make a motion. Need a second? Marty? Questions or comments? Final read. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. 6-0. Thank you. And then Title I Policy 8260. This is special in terms of timeliness. Our need is, so it's a first and a final reading, was why it's separated out. And motion to approve.
Moved.
Judy, first, second. Tim? Questions or comments about this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 6-0. And our district-wide safety plan, motion to approve the safety plan. Marty, second. Erica? Questions or comments? this completes, we've been through a full cycle, right, where it's been out for public comment. So I believe this finalizes it. Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, 6-0. And motion to approve authorized signers for extra classroom funds effective immediately when we approve. Erica first, Marty second. Questions, comments? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6-0. Claims auditor reports. These weren't discussed with our other auditor, right? These were internal claims audits, but we discussed these at the audit, the committee, audit and finance committee. Motion to approve?
Moved.
Tim, second. Joyce? Questions or comments about it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, 6-0. And then the financial audits, which were discussed and presented earlier, but now motion to accept the basic financials and letter of communication. Judy, first. Second, Erica. Questions or comments? Again, all in good shape, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 6-0. And cooperative participation agreement for dental plan administration, our annual approval. Need a motion to approve. I'll make the motion. Do we have a second? Joyce? Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 6-0. And believe it or not, time to pass the budget calendar. So motion to accept the budget calendar for the 2021, is that right? 2020, 2021? Oh yeah, 2021, today's the budget for the 2021, 2022 school year. Yep, sorry, probably do that every year. Hard to believe we're planning for that already, but yes, motion to approve. Joyce, thank you. Erica, second. Questions or comments about that? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 6-0. And budget goals. I think this says draft, right? They're draft as they are now, but we're looking for approval tonight to make them official. So a motion to approve budget goals is outlined. Joyce, second. Marty? Questions or comments? Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, 6-0. Sweet. And then this is not necessarily an action item. Well, it could be, right? That's why it's in this area. Discussion action item. We had this for our workshop and moved it to tonight, as well as the goals, right? The goals were at the workshop as well. To talk about, with the project report we just had, though, to talk about potentially a change to the fields and kind of outline the background there. Guess I can open up for discussion. Wasn't necessarily looking for that, but I know if people want to say reasons why we're looking at this, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think the question is, do we want some process to engage the community to come to a decision? For us, if I could summarize quickly, but please, I'll open it up to everybody, right? In terms of if I don't summarize well enough, we recognize conditions have changed in terms of the economic environment, and this was a big project, and so we potentially could reduce the spending of the capital project by looking at our fields and not moving forward at this time with the artificial and going with another way to make the baseball, softball field areas playable, but not necessarily multi-use. On the other side is it's a really great enhancement for the district. It increases our value to people in terms of their perspective of moving in, to know that we are modernizing everything we have. And we had a big vote on it, and it was overwhelmingly supported, but that happened before COVID. So there's reasons why we thought we should at least take a look. It's not too late to necessarily make the decision, but there's a dilemma, right? I think it's really valuable to the district. At the same time, I recognize personally myself the expense side of it, and cannot deny that it was overwhelmingly supported by a vote, so I have to admit it tears at me. How do we get to a decision whether we want to move forward with that or not? I would throw out there potentially opening up for a comment period specifically, but I'm open to ideas. Or
Peter, if I'm correct, the financial impact of this particular project won't be hitting our residents until 2023?
I think that's the earliest.
Was
that right?
that
Yep.
Was that the tax bill that this would be hitting? Okay, so the school district 2022, 2023, so it'd be 2 more cycles before they would see the impact of this bond on their tax bill.
Correct.
And then you also stated in your remarks that this would be postponing to a future date to go through with the multipurpose field. And that was correctly stated by you, yes?
Yes,
Yeah,
well, that's,
yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
idea is
yeah.
not to say we're never going to do it, but if we didn't do it now, we need to make the fields playable. We recognize that because they've been
Right.
pretty much unusable. So yes, I mean, that's how I presented it, but there's reasons to wonder if that, no one has a crystal ball, so. Any others, or?
Yeah,
Joyce?
I think one of the things we discussed was making the current fields playable. And I know Tim asked for someone from Cornell or someone to come in and give us some information on that. You spoke with someone. So I think before we make a decision, I think we should know what can be done and what that would cost, get some more information on keeping the fields we have. And then if we do want the public to make comments or something, they would have both sides to look at, as would we. So I just would ask for some more information on the current fields before we make a decision on whether to put a hold on this. I don't, I just feel the more information we have, the better.
So just for clarification, I don't mean to interject. Clarification on what it would take to get them playable, is that the question?
Yeah, what the drainage and,
Gotcha.
I know Tim spoke to someone, Peter spoke to someone, just to get that information written down for us all to read and understand, because certainly isn't my area of expertise, so.
Right. And nothing official, but Tim and I did speak to different people who both generally agreed, and the price range was well under 500,000 to get them playable, but they'd be playable on on a typical basis, right? When you play on it, then you wait 48 hours or whatever to restore the grass, and so it's not multi-use, but but for significantly less of a price tag to get them playable for the I say two, but the JV and varsity baseball and softball.
So I think that's what we need to figure out is, do we want to investigate this further so that those 2 fields will be able to be used by the teams that use them for the next couple of years? Or are we willing to continue forward with the artificial turf that we have been looking at?
Right, so at least make them playable. So playable for those teams that haven't been able to use them but have always been hoping.
And the biggest reason for that is fiscal responsibility due to the financial situation that we've all been hit with. And it doesn't seem to be lessening up anytime in the near future.
So not process, but something, I guess we're tasking your team to, what is it, get us a quote somehow? What's the word? It's not a quote, but what's it take?
I'm just, there are some board members who haven't spoken, and I just want to know where they stand. I mean,
Is there a timeline for when we would have to notify about moving forward?
February is our latest date, when they mentioned in the presentation, right, that they submit to SED
Yeah.
final, and that is our timeline for outside for making that decision. So
So it would have to be done fairly quickly so
Yep.
we could come up with a decision.
and it's a narrow focus. We're not asking to look
Right.
at the whole scope of the whole project that was presented. It's just specifically the fields area.
And because it is a capital improvement situation, I guess we need to look at that as well with funding.
Right, so I guess what the impact would be, is that what you're asking in
Mhm.
terms of, if my memory doesn't fail me, we were looking at $45 per year increase in the taxes. And I imagine that could probably take up most of that, take it away.
And the cost of the replacement with artificial was around the $6 million mark, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think that's right, 6 to 7.
So I think it makes sense to investigate that, because I don't feel
able to respond without knowing some of the facts, you know, in terms of cost.
Essentially a
Make them
figure to what
playable
makes
in
it-
a shorter term, a lesser project.
How much would it cost and what will it get us?
Exactly.
Right, and if
And
there's an
that's
option
really
to
the second question.
What will it get us?
What will it get us?
Right.
How long
Right.
can, you know, kids have played on grass fields forever. And so if we make these playable, how frequently can they
Mhm.
play on them? And, you know, how long does that last?
I mean, just knowing that the last season played was not ever played on those fields.
It sounds like
No,
we're the
but that's-
season before that.
Yeah, right, you know, as many kids have tried to play on those fields for years, decades.
So just as a way to clarify, and if I'm like capturing this wrong, I know you'll let me know, but it's in essence, you know, a cost-benefit analysis of what it would take to get fields, and we're talking about the playing fields where baseball and softball playable. And, you know, then you had a bunch of very good questions about, you know, the actual costs, the frequency of use, and what are the opportunity costs of doing such.
Right, so we have this one side in terms of we know a multi-use artificial turf gives us 24/7 type use and access. So yeah, that's the opportunity cost. It's how different is it on the other side?
Yeah,
right?
that's, yeah.
Exactly, very good.
Also knowing, as we've discussed previously, that with an artificial system also comes routine maintenance and replacement as we're looking at for our existing field. So there are expenses that we need to continue to include with all of the
Yeah, I think
updates.
Aaron presented us with something, is that right, with
Yeah.
that showed a comparison over the
Right.
lifetime, right? So we have that.
Be worth bringing
Either
it back
Aaron,
in.
either Aaron or Ross did.
Yep, right, yep, one of the two. So, right, bring it back out, okay?
Did I capture that accurately? I just want to make sure that I get the get. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Then we will, actually, that's the last thing, so let's open up for any other board comments.
I'd just like to thank the JPPTA that raided my house Sunday. I woke up and, of course, my mother, what are those signs? What do they say? Did somebody, do you, it's okay, Mom. And one other thing, too, is before our next board, either workshop or official meeting, we will have the election, so please make sure you vote. And if you go to monroecounty.gov, you can find the days of early voting, and the local place for us for early voting is in Parenton Square Mall. And that is open early voting from October 24th through November 1st, and every day, but the website has the times, and they do vary.
Right, you said 21st, right, opens tomorrow?
24th.
24th, okay.
24th to the 1st, Saturday to
Thank you.
Sunday.
Love the convenience of Parenton Square Mall.
Seeing as, and I don't think you'll have a problem of finding where to vote, because I don't think there's much in Parenton Square Mall anymore. And also, just one thing, I'm sure people have heard that the lift bridge in the village will remain in the up position at least to February, if not a little later, depending on the supply of different parts that unfortunately have stalled.
So we blame you for that one?
No, that is the state DOT. We just are blessed to have the bridge in the village.
Buck stops with Tim. Okay, no, sorry. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to add how proud I am of our community for the many, many responses that we had about the Black Lives Matter discussion, and very proud of this board for the time that we spent reflecting on that. It's difficult to really understand that as a white board, right? And I think that we put hours into it and all of our hearts and souls into it, and I feel really good about where we are today, and I think that our community will as well.
I agree, and I also want to thank everyone who wrote to us, because they were passionate on this issue and yet always respectful. And I really enjoyed reading each and every one of the emails, and I want to thank everybody for their commitment to it.
Indeed. Thank you for helping us walk through that. Then with that, I take a motion for adjournment. Joyce, second to Marty. All in favor?
Aye.
Nobody opposed? Thank you. Good night, everyone. Good night, Damon.
It'll take 5 minutes.
Yep.